Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show. Welcome to today's program, friends. We appreciate you being with us. We have a great show for you. We're holding an Israel Arms International M1 carbine. This is a brand new M1 carbine, shoots the 30 carbine cartridge. Great little guns. Did you know, and we think as we're taping this today, this is Thursday morning, we think a provision has been removed from House Bill 4205 that would have confiscated all the 30 carbines that we bought surplus from the U.S. government, that would have confiscated the M1 Garands, the 1903 Springfields, the ammunition, the Jeeps, the World War II restored airplanes, would have gotten it all. It was a Clintonista buried provision in a defense spending bill. We managed to find out about this. Some good people managed to bring this to our attention. I certainly want to appreciate Tim Kearns actually helped bring this to national attention. We got hold of Gun Owners of America. Friends, we were so close. It was already passed by both houses because the congressmen don't read the bills. This was buried in a defense spending bill, and it would have confiscated all these surplus things, maybe even could have reached out and gotten the 223 Remington and the AR-15s, maybe, because anything designed for military. This was buried in the bill. Thankfully, we were able to mobilize our listeners on our radio network. We were able to mobilize you folks here on the air, and we got it stopped. We think, as of today, if it goes through, we'll be talking about it immediately on the radio and on next week's show. But that's how close we were. Friends, we're fighting for our freedom every day. You know, so many of us did not experience World War II. So many of us did not experience the Great Depression. Many of us alive today have never paid 5 cents for our liberty. Freedom is very expensive. You have to make an installment on it every day, or somebody will steal it from you. Somebody will take it away from you. And so many of our folks today have never paid anything at all for the gift of freedom, the gift that was given to us first by the Creator and then passed on to us from our founding fathers. We shouldn't have to fight for our liberty the way we do with people from our own country and our own government trying to steal it from us. That shouldn't be. That's the way it is, though. We can't help that. We've got to get some different people in charge. We've got to change the structure. First of all, we have to reach more Americans. Friends, if we don't reach more Americans on television with our message, the fight is going to be lost. We must do it on TV. We must do it. That's why we're here. 10 years, 443 shows, because you have wanted to keep us on. We've got to expand. You know, Gun Owners of America is helping to sponsor our show. Gun Owners of America jumped on this 4205 bill immediately. The other organization, the NRA, wasn't even concerned about it, chose not to get involved. I guess they thought they might have to make a compromise, and they didn't mind doing that. I'm sorry about that, friends. But when you send your money, in my opinion, to the NRA, you're throwing your money away. Certainly, we're on television with this message 6 days a week now, counting radio, on television every week, on radio 6 days a week. And friends, it's got to be done. Did you know that the Million Mile Marchers are literally swimming in money? And the lady from MAD, Rebecca Brown, she is saying that she is going to help disarm us. Well, you know, friends, I don't know anybody who's for drunk driving. I don't know anybody. Nobody at all. Club owners, alcoholics. I don't think anybody's for driving drunk. And you know, there's nothing in the Constitution about drinking or driving either, for that matter. But there is a Second Amendment to the Constitution that guarantees our rights as free citizens to own firearms. Guarantees it. And this right is under assault today as never before in our American history. You know, even after the Civil War, the War of Federal Aggression, Abraham Lincoln did not try and take up all the Southerners' guns. He didn't see it as a threat. He wanted to bring the country back together at least. A lot of things with Lincoln I don't agree with, but you know what? If anybody would have had a reason, just coming out of a bloodiest war in American history, if he had had a reason to try and disarm a people, Lincoln didn't want to do that. That wasn't a problem, because he didn't want to bring us into a globalist society that would enslave every one of us. He didn't want to do it. But that's what's happening today. You want to stand with us? Some of us are not going to be reconstructed in the globalist model. We're not going to do it. We're not. Will you help stand up for your country, for your firearms rights today? Will you join us? You know, we have to buy airtime. We have to buy next month's airtime next week. We are very, very close financially. Will you help us? Will you help us to get our uplink running? Will you help us to get our channel? Million Moms, listen to this. The Packard Foundation gave them $1 million. Emma Goldman Foundation gave them $5 million to some mental retards that want to disarm us. The Soros Foundation has given millions of dollars. We can beat them. But we have to do it with your help, all of us together. If we reach enough Americans, we can beat them. Will you join us? Will you send whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dublin, Louisiana. Zip code is 71024. We have no time to waste, friends. We have no time to waste. Regardless of who wins this presidential election, if Al Gore gets it, it will be on a roller coaster toward disarmament and toward civil disobedience. I don't want to see that. Regardless of who wins, we're not going to be out of the woods as gun owners, as free Americans. This is an ongoing fight. It'll be a lot easier to pay now than to pay with things much more dear than money later. We have a great show for you. Let's start off with a little M1 carbine, brand new from Israel Arms International. These things should be taken seriously, friends. We have the 110 grain soft nose bullet. Got our volunteer water bottle out here. Let's see what it looks like. Woo! Like I said, these things should be taken seriously. Shoot the other.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, this is the new Georgia Arms 20th anniversary catalog. Of course, has a memorial there to our good friend Jim Clark there on the cover. This is a terrific catalog from the finest ammunition maker in the United States. They have all kinds of great prices on all sorts of ammunition: 243 Winchester, 270s, 7.62 by 39 Russian, all kinds of great stuff. They've even got 308 tracers, 30-06 tracers, all kinds of neat stuff here in this great new Georgia Arms catalog. They have components if you want to load your own ammo, and look here, we've got the Shooting Show and our new 460 Rowland kit on sale as well. Georgia Arms has the best prices for custom grade ammunition that I'm aware of in the United States. And guess what else? They're helping to support our shooting show. Friends, give them a call today. Free phone call, free catalog, 1-800-624-6861, 1-800-624-6861, Georgia Arms, and please remember to tell them that you heard it and saw it here on our program. On this breezy day, let's take a look. Here's the little carbine, of course, and let's go in and look at some ammunition. On your left, let's start there. We have a 30-06 Springfield, and next to it we have another version of 30-06. The third cartridge there from the left is a 308. Then we have the silver tip there is a 30-30. The next 30 caliber we have is a 30 Russian, the 7.62 by 39, which for all intents and purposes is a 30 caliber. And then the little round there by itself is, or in the center, is the 30 carbine. This is a 110 grain, a soft nose bullet. And next to it we have the 223 Remington, which is the current military round. And then over on the right, a 357 Magnum, a revolver cartridge. So if that gives you an idea of just where in the pecking order the 30 carbine is, in fact, it may be a little bit deceptive on its diminutive size in comparison to what it is capable of. Now, friends, we're trying to give you an idea of just where in size the 30 carbine round falls. And you know, this gun had an unusual history in how it came about. An old boy named Carbine Williams, and I think he was actually in jail at the time he designed the action. But you have a rotary bolt. It is a gas-operated action. These guns came with a 15-round magazine, and realized that when the M1 Garand had an 8-round magazine and the Springfield just had 5, this was a huge innovation. The reason, and notice how light and handy this little gun is as compared to a full-size battle rifle such as the M14 here. Notice it is just no comparison. The M14 weighed 9, 10, 11 pounds with a full magazine, and here we have excuse me, around 6 or so pounds. It's just as light and handy as can be. It was never designed to be a long-range rifle. It was never designed to do anything but be effective in close-range shooting. In fact, the reason the carbine came about is because the officers in the military were having trouble shooting the 45 1911, and you know, their technique just wasn't there, and people had, I guess they had some worn out old guns and they weren't able to shoot them well. So they said, wait a minute, let's give the officers, because they're going to be given more directions. They won't really be a frontline combat situation anyway. Let's give them the little carbine, because they can sling this across their back or ever how they were going to do it. Just very light and handy. And remember, not everyone shoots a handgun well, but anybody at all can put up to their shoulder and point, just about. And you had very, very low recoil. And I tell you, these little guns are more powerful than a lot of people give them credit for. I would class it, realize it is a small bullet, and the full metal jacket military bullet was running along about 1,900 or 2,000 feet per second, 110 grain bullet, and it would punch a little hole. It wasn't going fast enough to give what we call hydraulic shock, such as a 223 will do at closer ranges, or certainly an expanding bullet will give hydraulic shock, but it would just punch a little hole. It had very little shocking power. However, for their intended application, they were better than you might think. And today, if you saw on the water bottles earlier with an expanding point bullet, where you can take advantage of the velocity it does have, they can be pretty spectacular for defense and on small game. Realize when you run that 110 grain bullet at 1,950 or so feet per second, you're talking over 900 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. Now then, you still have a small bullet and lightweight bullet. So I would class the 30 carbine similar to, say, a 357 Magnum carbine. That's sort of the class it's in. And of course, very low recoil. They're not target grade guns, but they're great plinkers and great for small game at reasonable ranges, at the ranges that the gun is designed to be used at. So certainly a lot of people have these, and of course this is a brand new gun, very, very nicely machined from Israel Arms International. And speaking of velocity, let's go ahead. Of course, you have a box magazine here. Let's go ahead and chronograph a couple of rounds and see just what the modern, we have some Remington factory ammo here, just had some handy. Let's see what this modern loading does through the chronograph. Let's find out what it does. Here we go. Let's see how fast the little bullet runs. Friends, that is more than I thought it would actually do. 1975 to a little over 2,000, certainly averaging close to 2,000. Yet, listen, that's well over 900 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, certainly, which is no joke.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Born in America, Hillel Goldstein's family moved to Israel just in time for the Yom Kippur War in 1973. In 1983, Goldstein was drafted into the Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF. He served in a combat unit for 3 years, seeing action in southern Lebanon. Upon arrival in Israel, Goldstein had been surprised to see gun-toting men and women walking all over Israel. By 1983, his M16 service rifle was but an extension of his own arms. Back in the United States in 1986, Goldstein readjusted to the who needs a gun view that is all too prevalent here. Worse still, he took up residence in one of the world's largest legislated gun-free zones, the city of Chicago. On July 2nd, 1999, Goldstein was on his way back from Friday evening worship at his local synagogue. He was quite conspicuous in his Sabbath garb. He was all too easy to spot for Ben Smith, a neo-Nazi on a private mission to kill blacks and Jews. Smith went on to kill several people before saving the state the expense of executing him by committing suicide. Goldstein became one of his victims, taking 5 shots to his torso and arm. His time in the hospital was educational as well as therapeutic. Goldstein did not respond to the media inquiries right away, spending the time to think through why a non-soldier should also have a gun. When he decided the issue affirmatively, he found that the media dropped him like a hot rock. So did many of his friends, who mindlessly assured Goldstein that we don't need guns because we have the police to protect us. That argument struck Goldstein as full of holes as he had been after Smith's attack. Goldstein argues forcefully that self-defense in a biblical doctrine, and among other parts of Scripture, we find it in the book of Leviticus. Those interested in this subject can find a piece I have done on what the Bible has to say about gun control on the GOA webpage at gunowners.org. Goldstein has by now remedied his inability to protect himself and his family. He has procured firearms and has reacquainted himself with their use. He has also been given a life membership in Gun Owners of America. From Washington, this is Larry Pratt for Gun Owners of America.
For more information on Gun Owners of America, you can give them a call at 888-886-GUNS. Remember, friends, they are the only no-compromise gun owners organization in the Washington, D.C. area. 1-888-886-4867. Please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our show.
Now, friends, just to show you how the little gun is made, of course, this is brand new from Israel Arms. I don't know about that bayonet look. I don't know. It's very dangerous, I suppose, anyway. It has the aperture type sights adjustable for windage and elevation, and notice how the bolt, and yes, we know this gun is empty, we've checked it several times, Notice how the bolt rotates as it starts back. It unlocks. This is your extractor right here. It unlocks the gases from a hole in the barrel. Push a piston back here, and it has a rotating bolt. It unlocks, ejects the spent cartridge, picks up another one from the magazine there. This is your safety. That is on safe. This is pull back to remove it off the safety. A 15-round box magazine. Of course, now the new magazines are going to be 10, but there are a lot of 15-round magazines out there. Very, very nicely made from Israel Arms International. Friends, it has the sling cutaway there in the stock, certainly a front sling swivel. These guns are simple to take down, very robust and rugged designs. In fact, remember, I saw the what I thought was at the Cody Firearms Museum. If you remember those shows, when we went up to Cody, Wyoming, there was a little gun designed by Winchester in the museum there that looked a lot like an M1 carbine, just a little bit bigger. And come to find out, of course, that was the Winchester candidate for the new military rifle. And honestly, I think that since this is all steel, very solid construction, if they had the military had gone ahead and expanded this design for the 223 cartridge, I think we'd probably have a better gun today. You know, the AR-15 has proven out finally to be a good design, but realize we're talking something similar in size and weight to the AR-15. In fact, I think the little carbine is actually lighter than the AR, somewhere there, and is a very, very rugged and durable piece. Like I said, I think this is probably the gun that should have won the candidacy for the replacement. If they wanted a carbine, we already had one of the best ones in the world. Politics, friends. It was about politics. The Stoner system is okay. The Stoner system on the AR-15, it was worked out, but you know, a lot of people suffered in Vietnam, and there were some people that were killed because the military and the ammo makers did not get it right on the design. But you can see the huge advantage that this gun has in handling. Of course, the full-size battle rifle is going to have much more recoil. One of the variations of this M1 carbine was a full auto, an M2 model with a 30-round magazine, full auto. And I tell you, they didn't have much shocking power, but they had tremendous penetration with the military round. Today, I would relegate the 30 carbine, certainly be good with soft-nosed bullets for home defense, be good for small game, up to probably around coyote sized game. Probably on a game animal, I think the 110 grain bullet would be far superior to, on a, say, a medium-sized varmint like a coyote, something like that. Raccoons, coyotes would be far superior to the 223 for a lot of applications. No, it is not a deer rifle. I know a lot of deer have been taken with 30 carbines, but you just don't have enough bullet in that construction. You just don't have it. Realize that our Bechtech carbine is quite a bit more compact than the M1 carbine, and no, the M1 is nowhere as close to as powerful as our 460, but still, it is a good and useful carbine. Let's show you. You know, a lot of these wound up as frontline service with in Asia. The Vietnamese soldiers, a lot of them use them. A lot of the U.S. military use the carbine instead of the M14 or the AR-15, and it acquitted itself pretty well. If you can shoot the gun, let's go ahead and shoot it. Watch it in recoil. Very mild. Get my hearing protection in good. Here we go. See, very little recoil, just not much at all.
Friends, for information on where you can get the IAI M1 carbine or their Garand or a whole product list, give them a call at area 713-789-0745 for one of their free catalogs. You can find out where you can buy your gun locally. Again, 713-789-0745.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
stocks, for pistol grips, for regular stocks, for replacement stocks, for magazine extension tubes for your shotgun, for magazine replacement springs for your shotgun. How about the executive eye scraper, the executive letter opener, all from Choate Machine and Tool when you call for a free catalog. You can get the executive letter opener, a multi-purpose tool, or the executive eye scraper, a multi-purpose tool, for only your choice, only $2 when you call for a free Choate catalog. You can get both of them for $4, a $10 value. Friends, if you're a shooter or a gun owner, you need one of the Choate Machine and Tool Company catalogs. Call them today, 1-800-972-6390. In Ball Knob, Arkansas, they're helping to support our project. You need one of their catalogs. Again, 1-800-972-6390. And please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our show.
Friends, we want to remind you that a broadcast copy of our shooting shows are archived at Jim's House of Videos. The number's area 318-869-0439. Also, Jim is stocking the MechTech demonstration tape, also the 460 Rowland demonstration tape. You can also find him on the internet at www.jimshouseofvideos.com. And now for our support group, we have Custom Leatherwork in Saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. All kinds of leather work. Their number is area 225-667-9225. We have Brooks Communication for all your communications needs around Albuquerque, New Mexico. Their number is area 505-888-2929. For our GRA Shooting Scenarios Rule Book, also for firearms training in South Carolina, call Dennis Crocker, area 864-587-8722. And for heavy equipment rentals in Southern California, we have Gearlings Equipment Rental, area 909-354-6476. We'll see you on the next show.